Hey guys, welcome back to the new homeowner. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about the top 10 tools that you're going to need when you buy a home. So starting things off, number 10 are tape measures. All right, when you buy a home, you're going to want to put things in it, whether it's things like couches or other big furniture or dressers, desks, whatever. You're going to need to know the dimensions of what you're working with. So I like this 25-foot Milwaukee tape measure. The reason I like it is because it has all the increments already labeled on it in between the inch marks. So it labels, eighth of an inch, quarter of an inch, 3/8, half, all the way up to the next inch. And it's very good to have, especially if you're not familiar with reading tape measures. This older Klein I have doesn't have it. It just marks every inch. So if you're not familiar with reading a tape measure, getting one that shows all the marks is going to be big for you. All right. You can get these at Home Depot, relatively inexpensive. I think I got two for $20 around Christmas time. So whenever they go on sale, I usually pick up one or two of them. But yeah, I would definitely recommend getting a tape measure. All right, moving on. Number 9, pencils. Well, if you have a tape measure, you're gonna have to mark things. So having a good pencil, will help. I like using carpenter's pencils, whether it's marking a board that I'm going to cut or marking a place to hang a picture. Um, you could also use number 2 pencils if you want. I just like, carpenter's pencils. But I would definitely stay away from things like markers and pens, especially on walls, because pens can leave little divots and dents in walls, and it's not going to look nice. All right, so that's my number 9. Here's my number 8. Levels. So if you're going to do things like hang pictures in your home, which many of you will, all right, if not all of you, you're going to want to make sure that that picture frame looks good. All right, and it needs to be level. So a small torpedo level can help with an individual picture, or if you're going to hang multiple pictures in a row across, you're going to want a longer level, like this 2-foot level. They even make 4-foot and 6-foot levels. You really need to figure out what level you need to make sure that everything works well in your house. And this is not just for, pictures. Maybe you're going to do some home renovations and need to replace a countertop and you need to make sure it's level. You're going to want to get a level. All right, level is my number 8. Moving on to number 7. So, number 7, lighting. It's inevitable at some point you're going to need a flashlight of some kind. Whether it's a, power surge or you blow a fuse, you're going to want to go check out the circuit breaker. So that's where a good flashlight comes in. All right, this one I have is very bright. All right, it's a USB rechargeable flashlight. It's from Home Depot. It's a Milwaukee. And I think this is a 1100 lumen flashlight. So it's very bright. It has a spot in the back here for a USB to recharge its battery, which is great. Never have to take the battery out. So having a flashlight at home is something very, very nice to have. You might be wondering, why is there a headlamp if he has a flashlight? Well, I'm going to tell you. So in my house and in many homes, I have to go through a crawl space in my closet to get to my attic. So my attic is unfinished, and it's really just me crawling across beams to do things up there, whether it's changing hi-hats or installing things or checking the vents. So having both hands available to me for stability is very important. So that's why I have a headlamp. Just, strap it to my head and I have light. And I don't have to worry about using one hand to hold a flashlight and use one hand to hold myself. But yeah, definitely go out, get yourself a good quality flashlight and a good quality headlamp. This one was about 70 or 80 bucks at Home Depot, I think. And I spent maybe $30, $40 on this headlamp. This is a Husky and it works really good. It also is a USB rechargeable one. And I really like these for my personal lighting. Don't have to worry about, getting AAAs all the time or AA's. I have batteries. I just recharge them when I need to. And it's great. All right, let's keep it going. Number 6, some type of utility knife. This is a Milwaukee Fastback utility knife, and yeah, it's a razor blade. So you can use it for things like cutting open boxes, which if you're like me, you get Amazon packages constantly. So having a good utility knife is something that you're gonna use no matter what. This one is nice. It has a really good feature that if you press a button here by the blade, it releases it. And this is very nice for when you're doing, work in outside, or you don't have access to maybe a screwdriver, because some of the older razor blade models, like the Stanleys, you'd have to disassemble the whole blade, the whole razor blade setup to just put a new blade in. And this is really nice. I just pop a new blade in when I need to, and it's secure. It doesn't come out for anything. This model also comes with a belt hook, which is nice. I can just pop it onto my belt and go about my business. So I would highly recommend getting a good quality razor blade or utility knife like this. If you're not one to have something like this at home, you can go to Harbor Freight and for about 99 cents, get one of these little snap blades. If all you're going to do is open boxes, this is the way to go. All right. And when the blade gets dull, you can snap off the top one and there's another fresh blade right underneath it. And, they're relatively inexpensive and they work well. So, these are two things I would highly recommend you get for yourself. All right, moving on to my number 5. Screwdrivers. At some point, you're going to need a screwdriver. Phillips head and flatheads are 99.9% of the time what you're going to be using in your home. Whether it's fastening up the cabinet screws or underneath a table for one of the legs. All right, Phillips head and flathead is really all you're going to be using. There might be an occasion where you use a hex bit screwdriver or a Torx or a square bit. But, like I said, 99% of the time, these are the two you're going to use. These are Klein screwdrivers. I've had these for probably 20 years. They were my dad's before they were mine, and they're still going strong. All right, but you don't necessarily have to get Kleins. You can get Craftsman or DeWalt screwdrivers or Harbor Freight screwdriver sets. Whatever you need to make your house work for you. So that's why these are on my list. All right. Moving on. Number 4. You're going to need some type of Allen key setup. All right. So like I said earlier, you're going to get new furniture in your house, and a lot of people can't afford to buy furniture already built and brought into their home from a big furniture store. You might end up going to Target or IKEA or Walmart and getting different things like dressers or bookshelves, whatever. They usually come with some type of Allen key, but that Allen key is usually very small and easily lost. So go get yourself an extra set of Allen keys from Harbor Freight. They're like $8, I think I spent for a 2-pack of these actually. These are Kleins. They're a little better quality, but still, one Allen key, they're all the same pretty much, for the most part. What I like about these though is that unlike the ones you get from IKEA, these are longer, which makes it easier to turn things. All right, so always have an extra set of Allen keys for yourself. They'll come in very, very handy. All right, moving on. Number 3, safety gear. This is something that doesn't get talked about enough. You're going to want to have safety goggles. All right, you're going to want to have gloves like this. All right, because you never know when you might accidentally be in a situation where you can hurt yourself, whether cut yourself grabbing things or something pops or snaps while you're working on it and you want to protect your eyes. I always wear safety goggles when I'm doing any type of building or woodworking, when I'm outside or in the attic doing things. I always have gloves on because you never know where that one screw or one nail might be sticking out slightly and cut you. Or you might be hammering something and all of a sudden something pops and all of a sudden you get something in your eyes. Make sure you get the proper safety gear. All right, moving on. Number 2, you're gonna need a hammer. All right, so if you're hanging picture frames, you're gonna need a hammer, and you don't need a giant 28-ounce hammer that you see at Home Depot. This is about 18 ounces. It's a Klein. This was my father's as well. It's lasted a long, long time. All right, and it has a flat face. All right, you don't even need one this heavy. You can get away with using a 16-ounce or a 12-ounce if you want, and these will last you a very, very long time. This has been the only hammer I've ever owned. All right, you know what? That's a lie. This is the only hammer I've ever used. I have other ones. I never really need to use them. All right, so get yourself a good hammer. You're gonna find plenty of ways to use it in your home. All right. Finally, down to number 1. Number 1 is a 2-parter, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. So, you're going to need a drill. All right. So, like I alluded to earlier, you're going to get furniture, whether it's from Target or whatever, and you might want to speed up the process of building it. A screwdriver or an Allen key might take forever, so you're going to want to get a drill in there and slowly put things together, so this way you don't bust it up by drilling too fast. This is my Milwaukee M12 fuel hammer drill. I really don't ever use the hammer function on it. I've used it once in about 4 years at this point. But the drill mode and the driver mode I use constantly. It's really nice. Has two settings. Setting 1, which is a slower speed, more torque, and 2 is more speed, less torque. I used this just the other day when I was putting together that vanity for my daughter. So this is something I highly recommend you get. All right, it doesn't have to be Milwaukee. It could be a Rigid, a Ryobi, a DeWalt, Flex, whatever. Just have a drill on hand at home. Now this next one is kind of an optional piece. You don't need an impact driver. This is the M12 impact driver. These come in a kit usually. I think it's like $229 for both at Home Depot. And they work really great together, especially if you need to drill a hole and drive a screw, drill a hole, drive a screw. Having two of them is really nice. But I use this more outside than I do inside. I wouldn't use this on things from like IKEA or Target because it moves too rapidly. It's very, very, powerful. I would stick with something that I can control the speed setting and control how much torque goes into it. So that's why I would use a drill. But like I said, you can get these at Home Depot for about $229 for the kit. And I've had them for 4 years. They are great. Before I had this kit, I had the original M12 that came out maybe 15 years ago. And I only recently sold them, not because they stopped working, just because I don't need them anymore. I have these now. So, they will last you a very, very long time. If you don't want to go the 12-volt route, which many people don't, and I'm going to explain why, you might want to go 18-volt. And if you want to go 18-volt, I absolutely suggest it. This is the Milwaukee M18 drill driver. It's the 18-volt platform, so it has bigger capacity batteries. Now, the tool lineup for 18-volt tools is bigger than 12-volt. Even though Milwaukee does have a lot of 12-volt tools, and I have a lot of them already, 18-volt is kind of the way you want to go if you want to get a big battery platform with a lot of tools. Now, you don't have to go red like I did. You can get a DeWalt set. You can get Rigid, Ryobi, whatever. Even Craftsman's good for the homeowner. But make sure you have a drill. Now, I said earlier that this is a 2-port number 1. You can't have a drill unless you have drill bits. So I would highly recommend you go out and get some extra drill bits to go along with your drills. You are going to lose drill bits. It will happen. All right? They might fall. They might snap. Whatever. So I would highly recommend go out and getting some drill bits for your drills. You're never going to have enough of them. And different sizes and different types. So you're going to want to get some Phillips 1, Phillips 2, some flathead ones. You're going to want to get some Torx. You're going to want to get some square bit. You're going to want to get some hex bit. And these are actually not too expensive. I think for all these drill bits I spent here is less than $100. All right. I also get some for Christmas because I asked for them. All right. But having drill bits, your drill don't work without the bit. All right. That's it. Plain and simple. All right. Well, that was my top 10. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video, and have a great day.